Hey guys, I've done a few flights at this point with the 3D print and composite drone, and I just wanted to give an overview of some of the things I've found, some of the issues I've found and changed since then. The first big one was with the spacer on the camera. I wanted to use a spacer that way you could easily change what camera you're using by just using a different size spacer and change the angle on it. But every time I crashed or hit something hard, it would just fall out, and it was a real pain to always put it back in when you're out flying. So I ended up just putting some blobs of hot glue on there to keep it in place. Another big one was with the receiver. I ended up having a receiver out while I was flying and ended up crashing the quad. I'm not sure what caused it, but there's a few things it could have been. Initially, I had the antennas routing through here and then going up the arms, so the camera was squashing the leads on them. I'm not sure if that was the issue, but I ended up routing it around here and going under the motor wires. Also, the wires for the RX were a lot longer, and I had them wrapping around the aluminum standoffs, so I ended up cutting them down and making them a lot shorter. And then I also resoldered everything on the RX. Since then, I've done about 3 or 4 more flights, and I haven't had the receiver go out since then. I've had some issues with the battery as well. I'm not sure if it's because of the JST connector or just the batteries I'm using are pretty old. I've had these for a year and a half now. I've just used them on planes, but I think they might actually be getting pretty old at this point. So I ordered some new batteries that use XT30 connectors, and I'm going to sub out that connector when it gets here. Another issue I had was with the antennas. So every time I crashed, the antenna would actually come unplugged, and it was a pretty big pain to put it back in every time. So I ended up attaching it with a glob of hot glue, and I'm just having some heat shrink hold it in place with a zip tie. That way it stays up and doesn't get cut by the blades. I had one of my antennas get sliced by a blade when I crashed because it popped off and went right into one of the propellers. I think that's pretty much all the changes I've made since the initial design. The weight hasn't gone up too much. Without the battery, it's still sitting at about 138 grams. Yeah, 135. And then with the battery, it goes up to about 180. So 179. Overall, I've been pretty happy with it. There's not that much flex in it, especially when flying, but I've only been flying it on a 2S. The electronics are rated for up to a 4S, but I don't know if I'm going to try flying on that. I don't own any 4S batteries, and I like how quiet it is on the 2S. But in any case, here's some flight footage of it.